Today we're driving the 2026 GMC Sierra Denali. This has the 3-liter turbo diesel Duramax engine. It makes 305 horsepower, 495 pound-feet of torque. We have a 10-speed automatic transmission. This truck is rear-wheel drive only, and this week we've put 899.6 miles on it, averaging 26.3 mpg. We drove it out to Road America in Wisconsin and then back to Metro Detroit. So we spent a lot of time in this Denali. It's been a fantastic road trip vehicle. It's been very fuel efficient. We have a 24-gallon fuel tank, get tons of range, almost 700 miles if you're keeping your speeds down. We did not keep our speeds down to and from Road America, so we got a little bit lower fuel economy. But normally this is rated for anywhere between 23 in the city and 28 on the highway. I think you could easily get over 30 miles to the gallon in this thing if you keep your speeds below 70 miles an hour. It is that impressive and that efficient. There's a lot to talk about with this truck. We have the Super Cruise package, which costs about $6,000. Kind of torn on whether Super Cruise is worth it or not. After road tripping with it, it was either really good or almost crashing us into things. So we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get this on the road and show you guys firsthand what it can do on the highway. And I'll just also sum up my thoughts over 900 miles of driving too. This interior is really nice from GMC. We've got physical controls for everything we could possibly need. We even get a button to roll down all of our windows all at once, but not a button to roll them all back all at once. You just have to do that over here. You've got 2-seat memory settings, physical controls for your gauge cluster and lighting, and interior button dimmers, so you can dim your lights in this very dark at night, which is great. You have head-up display buttons, so you can increase the brightness, change your info display, and raise and lower the angle of the screen, which is great. Everything in here is easy to use. It's a truck. It's a very simple, easy to use interior. We have this Android Auto native infotainment system that does allow CarPlay connectivity. That's great. And Android Auto, very nice. You can connect it with a wire, you can connect it wirelessly. Google Maps is the native navigation. However, it is incredibly slow and laggy. It operates at about 2 frames per second. Still, it works. Or you can just go into CarPlay and use Google Maps without any lag. It's up to you. Like all trucks, you've got a great big honking center console here, wireless charging, trailer brake controller, lane keep assist, auto stop start. You can lower your tailgate with a button right there. You've got a digital rear view mirror. As tested, this costs around $75,600, but I've regularly been seeing these GMC Sierras for 10 to 15 grand off MSRP online. So starting price on this is about 66 grand. The diesel might be the way to go, just not only for range and efficiency, but with the 6.2 V8 reliability issues these days, this might be one of the more reliable powertrains from GM. It'll tow over 13,000 pounds, 13,200 pounds, 13,300 pounds, something like that. Every site says something different. We've got the massive 22-inch wheels on here. I would probably try to find a smaller wheel and tire package for this. This rides well enough, but you can definitely feel the shorter sidewalls and bigger wheels on this truck, and I'm sure you'd get a little bit better fuel efficiency with the smaller wheels. It's got a 69-inch bed. Very nice. Good bed liner. This tailgate that folds down like origami. There you go. Look at that. You can have a shelf here, a table, or you can do this. And then this, and then this. But if you're like 90 years old and you need a step to get in the tailgate, great. Or you could just use the step on the side and this grab handle right here, because that takes forever to do. And this is much easier. There you go. It's a truck. It does truck things. You've got your fake exhaust tips there. I really like this color. It's called Downpour Metallic. Beautiful blue. And it's kind of refreshing to see some chrome on a truck like this. A bit of bling. Look at this color in the sunlight. It just pops. The metallic flake is gorgeous. No tow mirrors on this, which is nice because you can actually see out of the front and sides of the truck. Here's your 3-liter Duramax diesel. Super smooth power delivery. Great engine, great torque, really nice drivability, fantastic power overall for highway cruising, passing. It's quiet, efficient, and powerful. What else do you need from a diesel? This being a 1500 series truck, you've got plenty of room in the cab. A lot of space back here. Hidden seat back compartments. Heated rear seats, a USB Type A and C port. Nice little armrest back here. These seats lift up, which is very nice. And they fold down. Big interior, big space in this GMC Sierra Denali. Let's hop up here, connect CarPlay. I just have this set up as a wired connection. That's what your reverse and 360 cameras look like. Would be nice to get a physical button for quick camera access. Instead, that's kind of hidden here in the screen. So depending on what menu you're in, you can just click that cameras button. And if you're in drive, it'll show you the forward camera. If you're in reverse, you've already got a camera up. CarPlay has this little half screen display. It works, it's responsive, it's quick to operate. Google Maps works way better than the native Google Maps in this. So let's say if we were to go back to Road America, look how slow and laggy this is. Just super slow. I mean, it works though at the end of the day, and that's nice. What else do you have here? Lots of applications that you can go in and download with the Google Play Store. That requires an account, a subscription, all that stuff. Oh, it looks like we're not able to use that. We have to sign in, etc. Over to the right side of the screen, you can have a clock, a trailer, your music, or Google Maps. Look at that. Oops. We'll leave it on that clock. All right, let's go take this GMC Sierra Denali for a drive. I also like that you get grab handles for all the passengers to get up into this thing. The running boards fold out. That's a setting you can customize to enable or disable. You get auto up-down windows for the front two windows, and you have to hold the switch for the rear windows. Pretty good visibility all around this truck. Digital rear view mirror helps with that. Lower forward visibility isn't the best just because of this high dashboard and hood line. I like the mirrors though. Blind spot monitoring helps with lane changes. And chances are, if you're on the highway and you have purchased a Super Cruise, you're probably just going to be using that. You have auto stop start. Doesn't engage all the time, but if you want to just turn it off, you've got a button right there. Heated, ventilated seats. You can heat just your backrest. You can heat your backrest and your bum. You can heat your steering wheel. And then you've got physical climate control buttons for everything, which is great. I love this climate panel in a truck. Only complaint about this interior is that there's quite a few reflective, shiny, silver, metallic surfaces. And you can see it right now. The sun is kind of blinding me on these aluminum accents here. There are a few different drive modes. Haven't really used them. This does have adaptive suspension, but there's sport, normal, and snow and ice. Super smooth shifts from this 10-speed auto. And of course, as you would expect from the diesel, loads and loads of torque. 495 pound-feet of it. Alright, looks like we've got a clear highway entrance ramp. Let's go into sport mode. We'll see what these dampers can do around a corner. Steering weights up, suspension stiffens up. And honestly, pretty darn good mechanical grip from this. 56, 57 miles an hour on an entrance ramp, that's pretty good. Gets up to speed. Awesome. We'll go back to normal drive mode. And we will wait for the Super Cruise ready steering wheel symbol to show up on the gauge cluster. There it is. All right, so I'm going to set my speed, press the Super Cruise button, and we will adjust to the closest following distance. I have this set to auto lane change, and it actually has pretty decent lane etiquette. It will get over into the right lane after it has passed slower vehicles on the left. Sometimes it's a little bit too far on one side of the line or the other, especially when passing a semi-truck. All right, so it's initiating an auto lane change here. We've got a Subaru coming up on us, making a pretty good pass. Every time it auto initiates a lane change, it vibrates the corresponding butt cheek as to the direction that you are about to go. And that's kind of nice. It keeps you both alert, but also gives you some haptic feedback on what's going on with the vehicle. Pretty quiet at speed, a little bit of roar from the tires, a little bit of wind noise, but overall its volume and NVH in this truck is kept to a minimum. This thing absolutely devours highway miles. We had some issues with Super Cruise this week. One time I started up the truck, it just didn't work for 200 miles until I recycled the ignition. And this isn't a truck that you're going to be needing to stop in often because it never needs fuel or it never needs diesel. It's either you having to use the bathroom or eat. And that's the only reason you're probably going to need to stop in a day's driving. Alright, we're going to initiate a lane change here. Looking for an opening. We had a couple issues with Super Cruise. There it is, braking. Getting over while other cars were merging onto the highway. It just didn't see them, and it would have run into them had we not intervened. Not sure why it's flashing. It can't really handle construction zones. You're best if you just kind of disable the system through a construction zone. The adaptive cruise control system is fantastic. If you don't want Super Cruise, the adaptive system is basically just Super Cruise, but you do all the steering. It works really well. We had some other issues where it just randomly turned off or disabled. But, I mean, for the most part, I would say 90 to 95% of the time, it was great to have. But the rest of the time, it put us in a couple dangerous scenarios where we just needed to be aware and alert of what was going on and take over quickly. I think when Super Cruise first came out a few years ago, it was pretty amazing. I don't know how much it's really improved since then. In that time frame, Blue Cruise, whatever Stellantis is doing these days, they are all kind of equal in my mind. Tesla's full self-driving is in a completely different league. Speaking of which. Overall, thoughts on the Sierra Denali? It's just a nice truck. It's comfortable, it's easy to use, it looks good, I like the interior, it's a great road tripper, and if something like this fits your use case, you're going to tow a little bit, you can, I think, have a very nice driver here with the Sierra Denali. A little bit more luxurious than the Silverado, a little bit nicer spec'd and equipped. And it makes cool diesel noises. I do really hope that GM retains this style of interior for their trucks. All the physical buttons, all the controls here are so nice to have. We even found this enabling Super Cruise on some back roads this week, so maybe they've expanded their coverage. This is adaptive cruise control doing all the work right now. Steering wheel buttons are super easy to operate. You've got your following distance, or gap adjust as GM calls it. Your speed, you can skip 5-mile-an-hour increments quickly, cancel right here, and then here is your Super Cruise right there, that button. Not crazy about this electronic shifter. I'd either like a column shifter, there's room for it, there's nothing here in the way, or just a good old-fashioned shifter. This is just a bit vague sometimes, whether you're just shifting into reverse or drive. I would like a little bit more clarity with what I'm doing. Alright, we're going to see how Super Cruise passes this slower truck here. It's engaged. We are green. We'll see if it finds a gap with all these cars passing us. I think it's going to wait quite a while. Let's see if it goes after this CX-5. Nope, it's going to wait. One more. Alright. Left butt cheek vibrated, turn signal on, and we're off. Bit of a weird hesitation there, that's okay. Let's see if it goes over into the right lane. Yep. It does take its time changing lanes. It's not super quick like a BMW or something like that. Rear view mirror is glitching out a little bit. That's kind of strange. Also, Super Cruise auto lane change in this Sierra Denali is not synced up with your navigation, so it's going to be changing lanes even if you have to exit here in a minute. So if you have an exit coming up, you need to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't change lanes into a situation where you're not going to be able to exit or get off or merge where you need to be. Alright, now we're in a construction zone. Super Cruise caution, drive with care. You can also manually initiate your lane changes. I'm just going to turn everything off and take over in this situation. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on the 2026 GMC Sierra Denali 1500 diesel with Super Cruise. Overall, really nice truck. Not a ton of soul, not a ton of personality here like you might get with the 6.2 V8 and a spicy exhaust, but still a really nice place to spend time. Super efficient. The range here is kind of, I think, the untold story. This is the unsung range hero of the segment. Anyway, if you want to see more on this truck, go check it out on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel or on Substitute Topher's YouTube channel, Topher Drives, where he filmed a road trip video on this truck with me. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys later.